So the other night I watched The Adjustment Bureau. And I personally believe that Hollywood is the world's largest propaganda making machine, and what's worse than it being a propaganda making machine is we aren't aware of it, or majority of people aren't aware of it, and then we pay good money and flock in droves to see these films. Now I watched The Adjustment Bureau, and I was, I watched the whole thing, and near the end I was kind of thinking, okay, this is kind of like a pro and anti-God kind of film. And now it was like interesting, so now I think, well, okay, say the Illuminati exist, they control Hollywood, and they use the movies to influence the minds or the way of thinking and reasoning of the masses. So I watched this film. It was about how we don't have any free will. We have free will to choose what toothpaste, which book to read, which coffee to drink. But when it comes to the big decisions in life, that is already pre-planned, like predeterminism. It's already planned. We cannot alter that course. Now the whole movie is about somebody trying to alter that course, and then these this adjustment bureau, which were kind of like angels, interfering to make sure he stayed on his set plan and did not veer from it. And I was thinking, so they referred to the Adjustment Bureau guys, they called themselves caseworkers. And they said, some people call us angels, like we've had many names. And they go to a chairman, he's the big boss, and they said, it's like, we call him the chairman, it's like, you have some other names for him. So the chairman was God, these caseworkers were angels, and they controlled people's lives. Now they said, yeah, we control your lives. We stopped trying, way back when, and then you gave us the Dark Ages for a couple centuries or whatever. It's like, and then we stopped controlling you again in 1910, and then you gave us 50 years of war, famine, and all this other crazy shit. It's like, and now we're controlling your lives again. That's what they're saying, right? That's interesting. So, the point they're proving is that man has to be controlled, or else he will lead to destructive, his destructive nature will come in and he'll kill himself off. But then on the other side, they're saying that we're all being controlled by God and our lives have no personal meaning, that they're all just pre-created that way, that we have no free will, we have no choice or anything. And the end of the film ended with, you've all met God, but pretty soon, we're going to step back and you're going to let man go on his own. We're not going to have any involvement. Man can rule his own thing. I was thinking, okay, so they're kind of like pro-God, God exists, God has a path for us, which is both good and bad, and then, the anti-God is like God controls us and we have no personal freedom, and he's going to step back and then we're going to rule ourselves. Man is incapable of ruling themselves, but maybe with the little help of somebody, say Lucifer, that they would be able to control themselves. So I was looking at this and I was like, kind of, God's controlling us all, that's a big one, but pretty soon, they say at the end of the film, we won't need God, we won't be controlled. Well, what's coming up the next few years? There's going to be some mass changes. There's going to be some craziness where God isn't going to be necessary anymore. At least he's going to be necessary, but we're going to be shown that he doesn't exist, or that we should be following a different God. So basically, it's going to be as if God took a step back. He's been in our lives, they say, but he's going to take a step back. And now this new entity is going to take his place, is what I kind of see out of it. So God exists, he controls us. God's going to take a step back because he deems that we're mature enough to rule ourselves as a race again. And then, we'll rule ourselves as man. But thing is man can't rule themselves. We need direction. Whether we have to, there's some things we can live without, like greed, selfishness, lust, desire for all, things wicked and whatnot. If we could get rid of these traits, then we would be fantastic as a human race. If we could learn to love, have empathy and whatnot, then we could be able to rule ourselves. But without these, we're destined to kill ourselves off, I swear. So, God's going to take a step back, Satan's going to take a step in. And we're going to get those nice years of control, terrible pestilence, death, destruction, control and whatnot. Oh, all that terrible stuff. So that was the Adjustment Bureau. So every paycheck, I'm going to rent 2 movies, 2 of the new releases, and I'm going to look into these and see if I can actually see any points that kind of would be subtle hints that would try to change people's way of thinking or views, like subliminal messaging and whatnot in films. Because there's a lot of them out there, so if you just start looking really hard, you can actually start to see these things. Now, the Adjustment Bureau was a really easy one. I may be looking too much into this, but it's Hollywood, you never know. So that was it. What do you guys think? Have you seen this movie? Do you have any opinion on it?